Hello and welcome back to Mars. I'm Mick. We're playing Stationeers. Now, if we're back to have another look at LArRE. Now, there have been a few changes to LArRE. Well, a few changes coming up for LArRE. Now, on beta they have changed LArRE so that LArRE can actually accept rails from both ends of the dock. So anything coming out, I'm not on beta branch, so I can't do it on this one, but anything that comes out of the back of the dock here will be numbered as stations will be negative numbers. Anything coming out of the front of the dock, they'll be positive numbers. So LArRE doesn't have to be right on the end anymore, which presents a bit of an issue because I was using the stack index for to store the names of the pots. Now, that won't work. Because if you've got negative stations, I don't have negative indexes in the stack, so I can't do that. Also, there was a limitation of being just the dock being junction 0. There is no 0 in the stack. 0 stack means it's empty. There is no position 0, so I could not use the dock over a pot because it wouldn't work. That was a limitation of my previous code there, but we can work around that. But at the moment, it is negative stations. You cannot have negative indexes in the stack, so I'm going to have to change the way that it uses everything there. I do have the pots set up, have my grow lights set up there. I have my seeds and my fertilizer set up there. Now, it was pointed out that you can actually add fertilizer after seeds have been added. So that wasn't originally the case, but something has changed somewhere along the line. I must have missed that update somewhere, and you can now just chuck fertilizer in after things have been planted. So that's not an issue. That's something we can do now. So even if something does run out of fertilizer, we can come back afterwards and plant fertilizer. Also, it was pointed out that my previous code there would use some fertilizer, pick up a stack of fertilizer, plant one, and then put the rest back. And it was pointed out that, well, as they're all in a row, wouldn't it be better just to move on and see if any of the other ones needed fertilizer instead of just putting it away and then picking it up again for the next pot and putting it away and picking it up again for the next pot? Wouldn't that be easier? Well, shut up. Yeah, it would be easier. But it probably will make the coding a little more tricky, but I'm pretty sure we can be able to do that. So anyway, here's my setup. I have got up this end, we've got our seeds and our fertilizer. It can move down through all the trays and we get to the dump spots at the end. I'll have a dump spot for food, which is junction 8, which is not actually a spot to dump anything, but don't tell LArRE. Oh yeah, and LArRE's been renamed. LArRE is no longer called LArRE. LArRE's been renamed to LArRE. So if I get LArRE mixed up, see, there we go. LArRE's now named LArRE differently to LArRE. So if I accidentally call him LArRE when it's meant to be LArRE, it's just habit. Yep. Sorry, LArRE. No offense. I mean LArRE, not LArRE. Now, so we're going to have to first up change the way we're using the stack on this one. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to pick up stuff at this end, move all the way through, applying fertilizer to all the pots that need doing before dropping it in at the end. Same as the seeds. If you've still got seeds, just keep going through the stack. We want to go from one end to the other, so if it picks up a seed from this one, I probably don't want it to come back and plant it here. It can just go to the end and dump it. If it picks up a seed here, it should plant it in something else that needs it. At least that's the plan. Can we do it? Oh well, let's give it a go. Now first up we're going to have to get our stack. So now I will have to put in a two-dimensional array in my chip to hold the junction and the hash name of the pots, which I've just called pot 1, pot 2, pot 3 and pot 4. It's just like naming children, isn't it? Kid 1, kid 2, kid 3, kid 4. An accident. So we shall want to, we're going to have to push them all in. So we want to, oops, push hash of pot 2 1. Okay, and I shall grab 4 of them for my 4 pots. 2, 3, that's a 3 and a 4. Now I'll have to put the stations in there as well. So after the pot, we shall grab the station, which is 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, so pot 1 is push 2, and pot 2 is push 3, and push 4, and push 5. Now doing it this way here, if I want to know where the end of the stack is, I can just push a name of a pot called 0. I don't think any of the hash values come out to 0, but I could be wrong on that. There may be a really weird one that does, but we're going to just read through the stack. When we find one pot that is named 0, that will be the end of the stack. That's how we'll do it. Okay, so for this, we shall also need a counter. So I shall alias a variable, which we'll put in as R10 to be the counter. We'll try around the other way. Counter to register 10. So that'll let us know which pot we're actually up to. Now, looking at a two-dimensional array can be a little bit tricky with your stack because you're not just using the straight stack pointer to count through things. So we're going to use a counter instead of the stack pointer and just do a bit of math to then find out where we should be. Okay, so we've got all them in there. So the first thing we want to do is we're going to have a reset. Once we get to the end of the stack, we're just going to have to have a reset position that we can go to. As part of our reset, we are just going to move into the counter 0. So we'll reset the counter to 0 because we're back to the start of the list. Okay, so now the start of our program proper. First thing we want to do is increase the counter. Counter will equal the counter plus 1. Simple. So it's 0, now it's 1. Right, we have a two-dimensional array here. So we need to set the stack pointer now to point to 1. We've got a two-dimensional array, so for each count, we need to skip double that many points in there. So if first time through, all we're going to do is multiply it by 2. So for count 1, it'll go to 2, which will be pointing to the end of the first record. At the second time through, it'll go to 4, which will be the end of the second record. Third time through, it'll go to 6, which will be the end of the third record. So we shall just say multiply the stack pointer equals the counter times 2. And that's set our stack pointer to where we want it to be. Now it is pointing to the end of the first record or the end of the second record. So we can we'll need to read the station number and the pot name. And so we can sort of subtract 1 for the stack pointer, or we push them in, write that one, and to pull them back out, we can pop. So reading the stack, we have push, pop, and peak. Now push will add something, write something to the stack, and increase the stack pointer. So when you push again, it increases the stack pointer. So it writes that one to position 1, you write that to position 2, it'll write that to position 3. Going back the other way, we can either peak, which will look at what's in there and not change your stack pointer, or we can pop it, which will read that, not actually remove it, just read it, and decrease the stack pointer. So if I pop that, it'll get us that. I can pop this and it'll return that one. So that's what we want to do. So I'll need 2 variables. So if I alias the hydroponics to, I call R11, and alias the station number to R12. We're just going to read them each time through. So now we want to pop, we are at the bottom of the number, so our station number first. And we shall then just want to pop the hydroponics. Oh shit. Did I spell that one wrong? Hydroponics. There we go. Pop the hydroponics. That's got those two there. And that should be all we need. Okay, so that'll keep going. So one thing we want to trap now is, have we found this one here, which is the last one? So we shall then say branch equal. So if our hydroponics equals our branch equal to 0, we'll say. So we're looking for a 0 hydroponics name. When we find it, reset. If we haven't found it, do other stuff, and then go back to the start. All right, so we'll just loop through here, grabbing each station to there, and when it gets to the end, go back to the start. So if I say save to the DB housing, the setting station, why not? So that should read through our 2, 3, 4, 5 and see if it works. So if I export you and say that, we are counting 3, 2. I haven't got a yield in there, so that's giving me some weird answers. It's skipping over a few of them. Yeah, that'll be it. So how about if I yield in there? Okay, now it should be looking a bit better. 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so reading through each of the stations there, it is getting them through all right. And going back to the start of the stack. Right, so that's the first thing. Now we've got to do something. So the things we shall want to do is why not? Add fertilizer, add seeds, and harvest. Oop. Right, so there were the things that we want to do. Now, because we're not dropping everything off, once we get to here, Larry. Sorry, changed your name, not to Harvey, it was to Larry. Used to be Larry, now it's Larry, not Harvey. Got it right. Now, so once we get to here, we can say, you may have something in your hand, which could be either fertilizer or a seed or something else. But the main things is what we want to look at is those things. So I shall need to know what the fertilizer. So define, I'll need to know the hash for that, because I have to check the hand for the hash. So the hash for the fertilizer is, oh, there it is. Andy, grab you. Is you. Right, so we've got the hash for the fertilizer. So we shall load into R0 from, I'll need to also alias Larry, won't I? Larry to D0. So load slot from Larry the hand. We have the occupant hash. Okay, so we shall branch equal to, so branch, if R0 is equal to fertilizer, go to add fertilizer. Because there's no, there's no point doing anything else. It's got that, just see if it needs that. So now I need to know if it's a seed. It could be any type of seed. So I need to add the thing. The class, sort of class. It is a LArRE. You are sorting class. Or class. Sorting class, I think it was. So we shall load a slot into R0 from LArRE, from the hand. Sorting class. And I think it was 4 with seeds from memory. So branch to equal, if R0 equals 4, it is a seed, so add a seed. Okay, so if we're still here, means you've got something else in your hand. So we want to go, well, get rid of it. So I shall need to define my other dock stations, my hard-coded ones. So define get seed. We get our seeds from station 0. We want to get the fertilizer from station 1. Okay, I want to fertilizer. Dump the fertilizer in 6. Define 6 and define dump the seed 7 and define the dump everything else, which should just be food, to station 8, which should be that one there. Yep. Okay. That should be all of our stations defined. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Excellent. Okay, so now we go down to here. We've added the seed. If we still have something else in our hand, or we don't have anything in our hand at all. So I suppose the first thing we want to do is there anything in the hand? So if we load slot into R0 from a LArRE, slot 0 occupied. If it's not occupied, and equal to 0, R0, well, we just start the cycle normally, don't we? Just go check the fertilizer. You can do whatever you like. If you need some fertilizer, you have to go get some. If you've already got fertilizer, just use it. If you've got seeds, go to seeds and use them. Don't bother putting in poop because you've got seeds in your hand. So we've definitely got something in our hand. It's not fertilizer, it's not seed, so it must be food. So we shall save to LArRE. Oops, set replanting. Dump food. And I had to make the function to move Larry, which we will keep using over and over again. So we shall put down here, move Larry, which will make Larry do stuff. So I shall want a yield. We'll wait a little bit there. I shall load from Larry, load into 0 from Larry idle. Branch not equal to 0. So it will go to 1 when Larry is idle. So it's not equal to 0. He's not waiting. He's not ready. He's waiting. I shall branch relative not equal to 0. So if R0 is not equal to 0, we want to go back 2 steps to the yield. And we'll yield again and check again. Okay, so then we shall save. Once it's idle, it means it's got to that spot and it's ready to do its next thing. So we shall save to Larry, activate 1. I think that's what it was. And once again, we'll have to wait for Larry to do that again. So we shall just copy you. Copy you. 2. That's right. 1, 2, back to there. Yep. Once again, wait until that is done, and we shall jump to RA because we will call this as a linked function. Right, so Larry should move to where it's got to be, activate, wait until it's finished activating, and then pop back to wherever it was called, which will be up here. Jump and a link to move Larry, and that's all we do. It'll then go dump the food. And if we are still there, I guess we can just keep going through the rest of the program because your hand is now empty. Okay, so we should have that. That's not really going to show us much, is it? Well, it's not really going to do anything. So, if I'll have to clear everything out of there, won't I? Clear you lot out. Export you. You shouldn't do anything. No, that's right, I've taken that line out. Shouldn't do anything unless you've got something in your hand. Which is not a seed. Well, you're definitely not a seed. So that should go and dump that down here. Or not. So Larry is idle. 1. Oh, haha. Sorry. It's branch equal to 0. Saying it's not idle. So, yeah, right, okay. Back to front. Try that one. That's better. Right. Right, so now you figure out there's something in your hand. Did I not export that? Oh, shit. Right. -2 to go back up, 2 to go down. Right, so that's where that one was going wrong. Oh, the silly things that just take so long to fix. Right, so now we get to here. So we've got to add the fertiliser. So first thing we want to know, I guess if it's got to this point, it either has nothing in its hand or it has fertiliser in its hand. I guess the first thing we want to do is sort of say, do we need fertiliser? So I shall need the hash for the hydroponics. So define hydroponics to be the hydroponics device, isn't it? Hydroponics device is you. Oop. Okay, so we shall need that as the hash, that is the name for the name hash, and we can find out what it is. So I shall load a batch name slot into R0 from the hydroponics. The name of the hydroponics is, well, hydroponics. I still can't spell it. Hydroponics. So that's the one we read from the stack. That is the name. The slot index will be the fertilizer slot, which is slot 1. Fertilizer slot 1. Good, it is. Logic slot, we shall say occupied. Batch mode is anything. Actually, should only be one of them. Right, so we shall say a branch not equal to 0. So if there is something in there, go to add seed. Okay, we don't need to do anything, so move on. If we do need to do something, I suppose we may have stuff in our hand, we may not. So if our hand is empty, we'll need to check if there's something in our hand. If we don't have anything in our hand, we need to get something. So a save to LArRE, setting get the fertilizer. And we then say jump and link to move LArRE. Right, so if you don't have any fertilizer, go and get some. So we need to check and see if we have any in our hand. So if we got to this point, we should either have fertilizer or an empty hand, because anything else has jumped around this point. Right, so we shall need to check and see if we have something in our hand. So load into R0 from LArRE, load slot try. Load slot from LArRE. Slot index is the hand, 0. You want to know it is occupied. So we shall branch a relative not equal to 0. If it is occupied, you don't have to get anything. If it equals 0, it's empty, go get something. If it's not equal to 0, skip 3 lines. 1, 2, 3, go down to here. it hasn't got anything, go get it. If it has got something, don't go get it because you've already got it. Okay, so then we go down to here. So what we'll do here is then add it. So we've got to send LArRE to the current station, which is stored in the station variable, and then move LArRE. Yeah. So that should send it where it picks up the fertilizer, then go pick it up and come back to the station and plant it. That should be all we have to do. But once it's done that, we're ready to put seeds in. So now we can go to add seed. Right, so we now, oh, it may still have something in its hand. So add seed. Oh, if it gets to here, it may have fertilizer in its hand or seed in its hand. Everything else has been thrown away. So we probably need to check and see if it's got fertilizer in its hand, which we've done up here. So we shall load into there. We should once again check the occupant hash. If it is fertilizer, we don't want to add seed. We want to go to the next pot, which we can just say to go to the start. As soon as you go to the start, it'll increment the counter and go to the next pot. And it may need to use the fertilizer in the next pot. So we're gone. Right, if we're here, still, we either have seed or we have nothing. So probably something pretty similar to this one here. So we shall, there's a bit of space. We shall just copy you down here. Hydroponics, except we'll look at the plant slot now. Away from the hydroponics, is it occupied? Right, branch not equal to 0. You right. So if it's not equal to 0, it means there's something is there. Go to harvest. Right, so if we're still here, we need to plant something. We may or may not have a seed. So we shall do the same sort of thing we did with the last one again. So we shall load a slot from LArRE, occupied, except occupied is not going to tell us whether or not it's just, well, I suppose that will do. Because it's, the fertilizer's gone. Anything else shouldn't have. That either gets thrown away up here before it gets to here. Yeah, that should be enough. If it's occupied, that's all we've got to do. Copy you to there. Branch not equal to 0. Jump the next ones there, which will be where we get a seed. We move to get the seed. We tell it to come back to the station and do your thing. Right, so all that's done, then we get down to harvest. Now that should work. Get to the end. And once you get to all of the, we're not actually getting rid of the stuff. So we're not putting anything back yet. So I guess once it gets to the end of the list, once it goes through all of the pots, once it reaches the last one, it'll drop it off. So as part of our reset command, if it gets to the end there, when it resets the stack counter, drop off anything that's in its hand. Because that will just send it to the right spot. The only thing it's dumping off is food. So as part of its reset, we're going to have to check and see if it has fertilizer or seeds. Well, the only thing it should have when it gets here is fertilizer or seeds. Everything else should have been dropped off. Okay, so I can... So I'll need to know if it's occupied. So pinch that command again. If it's not occupied, go to the start. Whoop. If it is occupied, I can say, is it fertilizer? Select R0 based on R0. If R0 is true, it is fertilizer. I want this to go to dump fertilizer. If it's false, I want it to go to dump seeds. That'll be my destination selector there. So then I can save to LArRE, setting R0, whichever one that happens to be, go to that one, and then jump and link to move LArRE. So once it gets to the end of the list, drop off whatever's in its hands and go back to the start. That should work. Should work. Got 2 fertilizer, 2 seeds. It should check that one, get some fertilizer, plant that one, and plant that one. Plant that one, realize it's still got fertilizer, move on to the next one. Once it plants that one, the second lot of fertilizer, it can move on to the plant seed. It'll have nothing in its hand, so it should go up and get some seeds. There's 2 of them there. And it should plant that one, and then that one. It'll plant that one, move on to this one, realize it's got seed in its hand, jump straight to the seed planting thing. And after it's planted seeds, it will check to see if that needs harvesting, which of course it doesn't. Then it'll go and check that one. It'll get fertilizer, however many. It won't come back to that one. It should then just plant that further, dump the fertilizer. Then it should come back, plant the seeds, and dump the rest of the seeds. Then it comes back to here. It should put fertilizer into that one and whichever other one needed it. Hopefully. Export you. No errors? Wow. A lot of coding and no errors. Unusual. Now it should pick up your fertilizer. No errors. Plant and plant. Nothing in the hand. It'll realise that and knows that this one needs seeds. That's the next phase of the program. Now it should plant everything with those seeds until it runs out. Now we should have moved on to this one. Is station 5? Yes, it has. Which is you. It knows it needs fertilizer. It should then dump the fertilizer. It won't come back to the other ones. Now it comes back to this one. It should be on station 2. It is. It knows that one needs seeds. If there's more than one seed, Two of them, so it should plant that one and that one both. And you. Should come back and fertilise you. Got 2 fertiliser, and then drop the fertiliser in the thingy. Oh, yep, sorry, my bad. Yep, sorry, my bad. And remember to do those things. Yoink. Okay. Nice. Right, so that's planting them all in a much more efficient manner. Although it didn't really look like it. Now I just got them to get to harvest the stuff. Okay, so it's now all planted. We now have to pick the stuff. So we want to come down here to harvest. Now once we got down to harvest, you may have gotten down to here. We may have seeds. Okay, so what I shall want to do here is, if I've got seeds, just move on to the next box like we did up here. If it has got what fertilizer, go back to the next pot. We shall do the same here, but if you got seeds, it shouldn't, or harvest if it's just occupied. Because if you've got, can come into here with fertilizer. If it doesn't need fertilizer, it jumps straight to the seed. If it's got fertilizer, it gets rid of it. Okay, so there shouldn't be any fertilizer. It goes to fertilizer, it goes to the next pot. So if it does get down to here, it has seed. So if it doesn't need that, it may get to harvest and still have seed. Right. So if it's got something in its hand, move on, because we want to harvest stuff now. So the first thing we're going to do is check and see if there's anything in its hand. Copy, paste. So load a slat from you. We'll just say occupied. Occupied a branch. Branch not equal to 0. So if it's not empty, go back to the start. Look at the next pot and see what's going on there. If they get this far, the hand is empty, we're ready to harvest stuff. So I shall load from our pot whether you are mature, or should I take seeding? Seeding. Right, so the seeding is -1. It hasn't got the seeding. If the seeding is 0, that means you've already picked the seeds. The seeding is 1, it's got seeds. So as long as the seeding is above -1, so 0 or 1, we can harvest the stuff. -1 on seeding, it's not mature, it's not ready to go. So I can say branch equal, if R0 equals a -1, it hasn't seeded, it's not mature. Go have a look at the next pot. Right. If we are still here, we want to pick it. Okay, so we shall save. So the hand should be empty. We're ready to go. It goes. Save to LArRE. Setting is the station that we read from the stack. And we should jump and link move LArRE. So it'll pick something. It's either a seed or food. So if it's a seed, we can replant it. So if it's a seed, we want to go back to the start and check the next pot. So we shall we did that somewhere. We'll go again. Right, so if it's a seed, so we shall load into R0 from load slot into R0 from LArRE slot 0, which is the hand. We want to go the class sorting class. Yep. Okay. So if sorting class is 4, it's a seed. So branch equal branch, if R0 equals 4, go back to the start and check the next pot, because you may want to plant that seed. If it's not a seed, it must be a food. So we shall save to LArRE setting, which will be the dump food. And branch and link, jump and link to move LArRE. And then we want to, what am I going to start? I want to harvest the next thing here, don't I? If there is something here. If we picked it all, we want to put back. So here, well, I suppose we just use this one here, jump. We should jump back to, we won't go to start, because start will go to the next pot. We want to stay on this pot until it's all been harvested. So if we go back to add poop. So once you've harvested it all, then we then go check if it needs fertilizer. If we're still picking everything, it'll say nope, nope, pick the next thing. Nope, nope, pick the next thing. So until it's all picked, then it'll say nope, yep, I need to plant something, or something along that line. So if we say to add fertilizer there, and it'll keep on doing that until it gets to here and goes back to the start, or gets to here and gets back to the start. That should work. Did it export? Still going. Not chucking a wobbly. So now I need to grow these. So if I say Atmos thing, that's a little command there. It allows me to see what these Atmos things are. So I have a thing ID for that plant of 1303423. So if I do that, I'll get rid of that crap. And I say a plant grow, that one there. It's grown. Do it again. It's grown more. Do it again. It's fully grown. It's mature. 6 wheat. Oh, cool. It really has grown. There's no seed. It's waiting for things to seed. So if I do it again, it should be seeded. Now it's coming to plant. Well, I'll pick it. I should put that away. That was the wrong one. Okay, so it dumped the seeds in the wrong spot. How did it do that? But it's picking them. Okay. Let's dump food. Once it picks the seeds, it went back to the start. The other setting, head it up here, dump seed. I got that back to front. Right. Hang on. I just got occupied. At the start. Okay. Load slot from R0 from LArRE. Slot 0. The occupant hash. Right. Export you. No, you. So if it is that, if it is the hash of that, that's not what I want. We want to go straight to that. I don't want to do that. This is a reset. Try that. If it's occupied, skip to here. Load the hash. If it's that, right, okay. Try that one. You've replanted that one. Well, thank you. Well done. Now, try again. Now, I did export that. Right. Export you. Now, try again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. I could probably clear you out. It should plant that seed in there now. Nice. Then come back and finish these ones off. And hopefully put stuff in the right spot. I'll hurry you along. One left. Right, seeds. It's only one. Yeah, only one of them too. One wheat seed. Will you put that back in the right spot? put that in the right spot. Back in the seed bin. No, you... Oh, you stupid... You imbecile. Now, so something's not right there. So... I haven't... What? Okay, we want to set... set... equal... What did I take out there before? I think I had a branch before, didn't I? Should be a set. Set equal. So set R0 if R0 is equal to... Damn. Right. And if it is, dump... Okay, right. Right. Yep. Who's old enough to remember that? I'll probably need to go grab some more seeds. There's some pumpkin seeds. They'll do me. I think. I've only got one of them left. I won't have to put that away. So now, if I clear you out, yoink, it should pick up the pumpkin seeds, plant one, and put the rest in the seed bin this time. I knew it was all going too smoothly so far. There you go. You're in the right spot. Oh, haha. There you go. Nice. I'll sort of close the bins whenever you get to dumping them. Huh. Okay. So I want to... I think that's pretty much it. So if I switch you off, I say grow you. You are seeded. Excellent. Clear you. I clear that one too. What's it going to do? Okay. So if I reset you now, switch you on, you should find out that that one's growing. Plant you into there. Now it's currently looking at that pot, so it's probably going to realise that that one doesn't have a seed in it. So I should plant that one and then put the rest of the seeds back into here. Put them away and come back and finish picking this one. Okay. Okay, so I need something to close the bins. How does it know which bin it's got to? So it knows that I'm going to do that. Now that should be back to -1 on its seeding. But don't come and kill it. That's okay. It's not going to come back and kill it. We're good. Okay, you're still beep when I get near you, do you? Yep. Right. Okay, so that all looks like it is going. So how do I know that it's dumped into there? I suppose I could just check them and see if they're occupied. Well, that'd be easy. So all I need to know is bin 1 and bin 2. At the start, each time it gets to the start, I can check. It doesn't always go to the start. When it's harvesting them, it's not dropping anything in these bins. But if I am using a bin for that one, it will be stacking stuff into that bin. Okay. I can just get them. They have... That is power and data, right? That's cool. So I just need to know import bin 1 and import bin 2. That's all I need to know on them. So I can call them LArRE and alias bin 1 C1 alias bin 2 D2. And of course, if you've got one for your food drop off, then you've got one of them as well. But I don't. I suppose I could just hash them all, couldn't I? No, I'll just do it this way. Then I don't have bins clacking all the time. So every time it will always get here unless it's got a seed in its hand. It's got something in its hand. It hasn't just dumped anything off. If we come back to the start, it will... the end, it doesn't go back to the start. It goes back to add poop. This one will skip. It's got a seed in its hand. If it's got a seed in its hand, it hasn't just dropped something off. So I could probably say it in here. So I load into R0 from bin 1. Load a slot into R0 from bin 1. Yeah. Slot 0. Occupy IED. Save to R0. Occupied true. Open. Activate. R0. Oh, no, that won't work. If it's occupied true, it'll be open. Confirm. So we want to say, yes, open. So, that was occupied true. Set not equal to 0. You know. set equal to 0. If it equals 0, change it to not 0. Yep. So it is occupied, true. Set it to 0, open, closed. Well, it's backwards. Save into bin 1 perhaps. Bin 1. Bin 1. Now you could just batch them both, but as I say, I don't want clacking bins going on all the time. So just check if any of them are occupied. Yeah, that'll probably be a better way of doing it. Let's get rid of them. That's an input chute. So F1. Chute. It is powered chutes. It is a import bin. U. Okay, so define the bin to U. Okay, so down here, load batch slot from the bin. Got a thing with BIMs, haven't I? Batch mode occupied. Maximum. So if any of them are occupied, save a batch, bin, open R0, export. We're all good. Nice. Okay. I think that's running. Well, there we go. So if I'll grow you again and see what happens. So grow you to 3. Nope. 4. Nope. It doesn't work with perennials? Well, screw you, hippie. Ain't rice then. That'll do. And pick that up. No, there's only one. Okay. Now then. Yeah, now you're working. You. And one more to seed. Pick you. Put you into the right spot. And close the bin. Okay, I think that is working now. If there's no seeds there, it will just plant it. We'll try and plant it, then just move on to the next pot. You could probably put something in there to trap it and see if there's any seeds in the bins. But I probably won't. Because it should be providing enough seeds as it goes. There we go. And well done. Okay, so that is Larry now working with the new way of doing stuff. It's going to go back and get fertiliser now. Oh, it is. Oh, well done. Well done, Larry. And you could put that back in the right spot. Nicely done again. Okay, so that is working the way it's meant to be. So now, thanks to the way we've changed the stack around, we can use 0 as a station. We're using 0 to designate the end of the stack, but that's the name that's a 0, not the station that's a 0. It doesn't matter what your station is. You can use negative values for your station, so when the next update comes out and we get negative values on our stations, we can use them. If it's got a handful of seeds, it will check all of your pots and make sure they're all planted before it throws the seeds back. Now, if it picks a seed from this one, it doesn't go back to the start of the line, it just continues down until it gets to the end of the line. But that's probably a better way of doing things. There's a lot more checking to see what's in your hand to do and stuff like that. So I don't know if it's an easier way to do it for coding. It's certainly more efficiency with the time-wise on it. But yeah, it does it. Yeah, I know. I think that's pretty good. That works. Does what it's got to do. That's the main thing. Anyway, that's Larry take 2. It still does pretty much the same thing, but it fixed a few bugs and shortcomings that were in the last one. But yeah, there we go. But that's about all we got today. So until next time, happy building. See ya.